gotta be an idiot to bet on that parlay.
It's DTF or bust.
Put it on my mama's porch tomorrow.
Welcome back to Whole My Dev Podcast. I'm your host, Braden Park. Here with me, as always, the one, the only, the real host, DTF, because I was absent last week.
I know. We haven't had a full Thursday episode with all four lads in like 3, 4 weeks.
Has it been? There's no way it's been that long.
If you go back and look,
I'm, I'm about to
I
right now.
mean, look, I'm gonna look at the thumbprints on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube at Hold My Bev Podcast. All right, so last week it was me, Corgi, and a lab. We missed week 13 because of Thanksgiving.
It's
Um,
been 2 weeks.
okay. Well, 3 weeks since. Okay, it's been 2 weeks. You're right.
I was gonna say I knew it wasn't that long because I knew you guys were on the call for like 3 hours after the one time, or that time actually, in particular.
It was.
I just wanted to edit the video.
I just want to
And I
go to
just kept coming
bed.
back. They're just they're just talking, talking, talking. I was listening to Corgi and Jason for a while. They just kept talking about tailgating at OSU. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I'm getting hungry. So I went and made dinner, sat down, watched like three-fourths of a movie. I come back, Dylan's back on the call, and they're just all talking.
That's what happens when you don't see your lads for a while.
That's true. That's true. But Dylan, how was your weekend?
Um, you know, a lot of Christmas parties. Browns suck. Cavs lost. So kind of a mediocre weekend.
Yeah, yeah, I can relate. I had some fun Saturday, but other than that, it's a normal weekend.
I heard that you did something really bad on Saturday.
I didn't do anything that bad. Man, a man's got to pee, a man's got to pee, whether it's on the side of the highway or not, and stop a whole party bus. But hey, it is what it is.
I called it though. I said you guys were going to be done partying by 8 p.m. There was no way you're going to be still partying all night. But
Uh, we we got back at 7. It was like 7:30, and we stayed for probably like an hour. So like 8:30, 9 o'clock. But yeah, it was just a long day. Long day.
there was no way you were going to be partying when I would get there by midnight.
No, no, there was not a shot. We were asleep by 11 o'clock.
Yeah. So would have been fun, but
But that's what happens when you start so early in the morning, though.
well, you can't drink all day if you don't start drinking all day.
It's true. That is true. That's very true. But all right, before we get into this week's games, I actually wanted to go over a few things. Obviously, elephant in the room. Juan Soto did sign with the New York Mets. They only upped the Yankees' offer by $5 million, which I'm surprised the Yankees didn't try to counter that. They really wouldn't budge $5 million.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Guardians were close in the bid too.
Yeah, the $50 Barstool gift card.
Actually, it was a $50 gift card to the Guardians team store.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
And they offered him the employee discount.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know why our good friend Mr. Hale wasn't trying to recruit him.
he should have been.
But he's all for selling players. We gotta get him on the show
He
at
was
some
talking
point soon
about
again.
unloading Naylor.
Yeah, both the Nailers. He's ready to send them to Chicago.
I saw that.
Yeah. Gotta get him on to go on a rant about that. But anyways, yeah, that was pretty big news. I know my friend, or not my friends, but my family that are a bunch of Yankees fans, they were going crazy all over Facebook today. I got a bunch of phone calls this morning and last night. I'm like, hey, I can't relate, man. My team just hands out $50 gift cards, and hopes that they sign,
basically.
which is a shame. Which is a shame. But I mean, hey, nothing. Don't get me wrong. I like building our own talent. I don't like buying all of our
Mhm.
players, but you gotta be somewhat competitive when it comes to that.
I think the farm system's fun. I think it's nice to see like 8 years ago, Jose Ramirez signed with the team in Dominican Republic, and we've developed him to be like basically almost uh first ballot. I mean, it's just cool when you've got players like that and Francisco Lindor who come up through your system, and it's just neat. But
Yeah, but
um,
going back to Lindor, it also sucks when you see him leave for the big market
yeah,
team too. That hurts
yeah.
10
I
times
mean,
worse.
Jose is kind of a unicorn where he said, 100, 200 doesn't matter. Like Cleveland's my home.
Yeah,
I do like to
100
see
million
that.
is the same as 200 million.
Yeah, I like to see that out of the kid. But big news though. We do have Shane Bieber coming back.
Yeah, which was very surprising. I did not think that he was going to be coming back. They got him on I couldn't tell if it was quite a 1 year deal or a 2 year deal. I thought it was 1 year, but then I saw a player option for the next year.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna guess that it instead of the 13 million, it's really a $26 million deal, just with the player option at the end of it, I guess. Be cool to see him stay healthy though and play this year.
yeah. I mean, I truthfully believe that he was the missing piece in our playoff run. If we had one more person in the rotation, just
Oh,
somebody.
absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. I saw Alex Cobb left us, which I mean, he didn't do a
Yeah,
ton, but
nah.
as long as they keep Boyd, if they can keep Boyd somehow, I'll be cool with that. And if they can ever
Hmm.
figure out Tristan McKenzie, whatever's going on with him.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a couple of guys that got sent down that you got to figure out what you're gonna do because you can't just hold on to them forever.
Yeah, because I mean, McKenzie's still young too, but man, he's got to figure it out quick.
Hmm.
I think he personally rushed himself back way too soon, and ultimately that's what, you know, downgraded him essentially. 'Cause, I mean, it was even getting to a point where he was getting dogged in the minors.
Yes, I mean he was getting trolled down there.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that was rough. Enough baseball though. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about college football.
Oh,
Um, they finally announced the college football playoff bracket. Did you get to look over it at all?
yes, I'm very
Um,
excited.
yeah, I am too. I thought the rankings were very, very interesting. Definitely not what I was expecting them to be. Um,
Hmm.
but I kind of wanted to go through at least the first round with you on this show, and then next show asking the lads to kind of who they think their championship matchup is going to be. Um, but going through the first round. Uh, First of all, we got the teams with the bye. So the number one seed is going to be the Oregon Ducks. Shouldn't have been too much of a surprise there. Number two seed is going to be the Georgia Bulldogs. And then this is where it starts to get really tricky. Number three seed is going to be Boise State. And then number four is going to be Arizona State, who played very well this year. Very well. But I don't know if they were number four seed. But I get it. I mean, they're all conference champions. I still don't know if Boise State's right there, but hey, they put up one hell of a season.
Hmm.
And then we get into our matchups. So our first matchups are going to be our Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Tennessee Volunteers. So I have some ties in that game, so I'm definitely going to be paying close attention to that one. Um, we have the Texas Longhorns facing the Clemson Tigers. Indiana Hoosiers facing off against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, which I'm going to be rooting heavily for Indiana to win that game because I think they should have had home field advantage. And then we have SMU facing off against Penn State. I think Penn State has an easy path to the I don't want to call it conference finals, but what would that be? The semifinals?
Semifinals.
Yeah, I think Penn State has the easiest shot at making it to the national championship as long as they can beat um Georgia, because I think Georgia will stomp whoever wins between Indiana and Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, Penn State's gonna ultimately get beaten down, battered and bruised. Did you talk about Indiana Notre Dame?
Yeah, yeah, I think Indiana should have been ranked higher than Notre Dame actually.
Yeah, I think that Penn State makes it to the quarterfinals, beats Boise, which both those games should be relatively comfortable. I won't say easy, but comfortable.
Mhm.
And their semifinal game is where they're going to be beaten up. I mean, looking at their schedule versus Ohio State's schedule, if Ohio State walks all over Tennessee, which I don't think they'll do by any means, they just have to beat Oregon. And I think if you beat Oregon, Ohio State's national champions.
Yeah.
I think they can take Penn State again. I think they can take Arizona State. They can take Georgia. I mean, I really think they can beat any team here.
And that's the thing, they can beat any team. It's just, are they going to go out and get that lead against Oregon, or are they going to sit back and try to be a
Right.
second half team, which that has proven to not work for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
No, I think it's going to be a tale as old as time where Ryan Day didn't beat Michigan. Everybody's calling for his head. And I think it's going to be the most awkward thing possible where he takes them to national championship. And then you say, now what?
Honestly, I might be in the unpopular opinion on this. I think if Ryan Day still wins the national championship, they still find a different head coach.
But they're going to try to make him walk. They're not going to fire him.
Oh, yeah, no, they're going to vouch hard for him to get an NFL job. Either
Does he
that
want?
or a
But
school like USC that's going to be looking for a new coach, because I think Lincoln Riley's going to be trying to find a new job, or Stinkin' Riley, I should say.
hmm
But yeah, I'm really excited for the college football playoff. We finally get this new format that we've all, or majority of us, have been wanting for a while now. Um, and it's exciting. I'm glad that it's more than four teams, because I truly think that there were always years where some of these other teams that weren't in the top four really could have competed for that national title, and this now gives them that opportunity. Um, so yeah, I think it's also interesting that this first round, they're not bowl games, which I mean, I get,
yeah.
but I think it's interesting that it's just it's essentially just a regular game.
hmm
Obviously with more stakes than a regular game, but now my question is, do the losers of this first round, do they still get to play in a bowl game? Because obviously, I mean, they played good enough to make it to the college football playoffs. And I'm assuming the next week would be the bowl games.
That's a great question. I'm trying to see if there's any bowl games, like if there's anything that says like loser of. It looks like all the bowl games are set. Oh, wait. Nope. All the games are set. So the college football playoffs are just completely separate.
Wow. Okay. Like I wondered, for example, say Tennessee loses and Clemson loses, would they play a game?
Yeah, they will not.
Wow. Okay. I like that though. It raises the stakes of the playoffs a little bit more too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Where the heck did you go?
I feel like I'm not gonna like that if Ohio State loses, but oh well.
Well, we probably
You
didn't
get what
deserve
you
it.
get. Yeah. Shouldn't even be in this situation anyways, in my opinion. But
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let's go ahead and is there anything that you want to talk about before we get into week 14?
No, because I want to save my predictions for the playoffs until the lads come on.
Okay.
And there's not much going on in hockey. Let's see. No, I think we're good. Cavs are just rolling. I know we lost the other night, but we are good to go for NFL Week 14.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get right into this. We'll start off with Thursday Night Football, where we had a pretty good game against the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers. Uh, Lions win 34 to 31. There was quite a few times in this game where it looked like the Packers were going to run away with this and finally give the Lions their second loss. And Dan Campbell, that man is just a risk taker.
Yeah,
Like that,
go for
I
it.
don't know how, like, and I've been watching them more since the Browns have had a terrible year
Mm-hmm.
in rooting for him, but that man is the definition of a heart attack.
Oh yeah.
Like that, going for it on that fourth down rather than kicking the field goal was a very, very bold move. Respectable, but bold move.
Yeah, he said if I get this, you're not getting the ball back.
Yeah. End the game right there rather than risk a field goal that, they have to march down and score a touchdown. But um looking at this game, uh I'm trying to look at it off this iPad rather than my phone, like I typically do. Ooh, I actually like this better. Jordan Love didn't have the craziest of games. I feel like he's been kind of, back and forth. Didn't even get Jaden Reed the ball. He targeted him one time the entire game,
That was a
which
big
helped me for my
disappointment.
fantasy, but
Big disappointment for Jaden Reed fantasy owners.
yeah, Christian Watson was the one that got all the targets other than Tucker Kraft getting um, Jordan Love's only touchdown pass of the day. But if you were a Josh Jacobs fantasy owner, you absolutely loved this game. He had three touchdowns. Jared Goff, three touchdown passes, one interception. Montgomery got in the end zone. Tim Patrick, this was the Tim Patrick game.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like everyone from, or like all the former Broncos just went off this week during their bye.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was cool seeing Detroit get their 12th win in a year. What's that, 11 in a row now?
Yeah, because they lost week 1.
Yeah. Did they lose week 1 or week 2?
Let's look. Let's look.
I think they
Still
lost week 2 to Tampa.
win. They have a 11 game win streak. So they are 1-0, lost to Tampa, went 11-0 straight.
Nice. Alrighty. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the Thursday night football game. Next we have the New Orleans Saints beating the New York Giants 14 to 11. Now, if you secured a $2 ticket to this game, you know, hats to you, I guess. You got to watch some NFL football for $2. But yeah, I had no interest paying attention to this game whatsoever.
Not even close.
Yeah, there was nothing really. Malik Neighbors, 79 yards. And honestly, the only thing to look forward to this game is seeing what Malik Neighbors will say to the media afterwards.
Yeah, and apparently a Giants player paid an OnlyFans quote unquote model to flash Saints players during the game to distract them.
I did see that.
And the initials were TD,
Wow. Oh,
Tommy DeVito.
DeVito.
It's got to be DeVito. I didn't look much into the story. I don't even know if there was another player with TD. Let's see. So he had Tommy
Let's
DeVito.
see.
Mm,
Uh, no, you're probably right.
Nope. Only one TD. That's hilarious.
Watch it be Dable.
That'd be funny.
Um, but yeah, not much else to talk about in this game. Let's go ahead and get our stinky Browns out of the way. Um, they lose in Pittsburgh this time, 27-14. Dustin Hopkins just I don't know what happened to him this year. So good last year and just can't make a field goal anymore, man.
It all went
It's
down.
not like Pittsburgh offense played that great.
It all went downhill when he tried to tackle the Houston Texans returner.
Yeah. And Kadarius Toney did get in the game again. And yeah, I think it's safe to say after this year he won't be on an NFL roster probably.
I don't know how you can sign him to an active roster. I just don't get it. Like he should
Yeah.
have been cut yesterday
I
after
mean,
the
yeah. Oh, 100%. He should have been cut yesterday. I think you take a flyer on him if you're playing as bad as the Browns and you see what you
I mean,
got, but you
you
see
could
what you got.
you could sign a 30-year-old bartender from the city of Cleveland to get better performance than he would.
Shit, go down to Kent.
Like this is ridiculous.
Let's get Dustin Crum returning some kicks.
Dustin Crum could do it.
All right, let's go sign Boogie Knight over in Japan.
Literally anything but Kadarius Toney. That was the stupidest signing we could have made. Steelers just continue to be our daddy in Pittsburgh. That's 21 straight years losing in Pittsburgh. We've not swept the Steelers in a single season since like the 80s. Like this is just a joke, but somehow, some way, we continue to win at home against them. It's just so weird. They're like 1-9 in the last 10 games against us at home.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And like I said, it's not like the Steelers played all that great. I mean, Russell Wilson, 2 touchdowns, 158 yards.
Yeah,
Nothing crazy.
that game pissed me off.
Yeah, not my favorite game of the week. We started off the game so good too. That
I
Jerry Judy
know.
touchdown looked awesome.
Yep, we looked great in the beginning. If it wasn't for fantasy football and how great of a week I had, my Sunday would have been ruined. But the other games lifted me up for my spirits.
Yeah,
Like
this next game didn't make me too happy at all though.
this
Um,
was one of them that lifted my spirits up.
oh, I bet it was. Other than Jordan Addison in this game, that made me feel a little bit better. But we had the Minnesota Vikings beating the Atlanta Falcons 42-21. I now drop 2, 6, and 7 in mine and Dylan's competition.
I don't think they just beat them. I think they spanked them.
They did. Oh, they did.
It's just crazy to me though because Tampa Bay, their two losses in the division are to Atlanta, and Atlanta is 4-1. But Tampa has one game over them in their overall record. I just don't understand that when it comes to the divisional like records. What does it even matter then?
It doesn't really unless it's a tied record.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins, another stinker of a performance. 0 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions. But Sam Darnold had a, I don't know if it was a career day. It should have been though.
I think it
Five
was a career day.
touchdowns. Yeah, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Three of them to Jordan Addison, and then the other two to Justin Jefferson. Congrats to the lad, going 2 weeks in a row now where the prop hit.
Yep.
Ever since we used the word curse, he has now been performing over and hitting the over every week.
Good for the lad because he's climbing from the basement.
Yeah, so maybe we uplifted his curse.
Yeah, I think if he wins tonight, which he should easily, um,
You'd think. You'd
you
think.
think he's
We'll
gonna
find out by the time this comes out, but
Yeah, it's gonna be funny if he passes Corgi for the first time all season.
Yeah.
Just like somebody else got passed for the first time this season.
Yeah, we'll talk about that Wednesday night or Thursday when the episode comes out. But yeah, 42-21. Falcons, I don't know if you start Penix next week or what you do, but
Did you see the Michael Penis Jr. jersey?
oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. Next, speaking of the Buccaneers, we'll move into their game. They beat the Las Vegas Raiders 28-13. Looked like this game is going to be pretty competitive actually for a moment. Um, but
It was
of course, the
it
one
was
week I put a bet on Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer has, you know, his most receptions of the year.
well, and your prop bet of the week was Bucky Irving.
Yeah, that too. That too. Bucky Irving gets hurt right at the beginning of the game, soils that prop. Um, but Baker Mayfield actually had kind of a little rocky game. Not too bad, but turned over the ball twice. Um, but Jalen McMillan, is it Millen?
Mm-hmm.
Had two touchdowns. He's the rookie out of Washington, I believe. I believe. Is he? Let me double check. Yeah, Washington. So he was on that Washington Huskies team last year in the national title. Um, I really thought Mike Evans was going to go off for more in this game,
Yeah, I mean,
especially
I
with
thought so
him
too.
being, yeah. So
He's
he's now at how many yards on the year?
like six something.
He's at 590 right now.
Yeah, he's got a ways to go.
Yeah, he's going to need one really big week to get that 1,000 yard mark. Otherwise, this might be the first year that he doesn't get 1,000 yards.
They're gonna make it happen. I just know it.
Yeah, they'll force feed him the ball. Rashad White, though, had a redemption game. He had gotten the end zone twice, one receiving and one rushing. So that was nice to see. A little late for fantasy owners, but
Yeah, I mean, it helps that Bucky was out. So any other
yeah,
week, this isn't happening anymore, unfortunately.
yeah,
I could see him as trade bait, but
yeah. All I know is the Raiders 100% need to address quarterback this offseason, and not go cheap with it because I want to see this Raiders team do good at some point, but this Aiden O'Connell, Desmond Ridder, and Gardner Minshew train is not it. Not it. Especially for how much they're charging for those tickets there too at the Death Star, they like to call it.
yeah.
But next we got the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Carolina Panthers, which the Panthers almost won this game. 22-16. Saquon Barkley, just another great performance. 124 yards on the ground.
But he got
Um,
Hurst. He got Jalen Hurst.
he did. He did. Um, Jalen Hurts, though, did not have a great game other than the rushing touchdown. Only 108 yards in the air. I know AJ Brown was complaining about it afterwards. Pretty bad, which,
Yeah, he was saying the problem was the passing.
yeah, I mean, their leading receiver he only had 43 yards. But Bryce Young, I mean, he's looking better. I don't know. I still don't think he's the answer there, but I think you can ride him out for a little bit more. I think he's proven enough this year that he's starting to look a little better.
He certainly can do it.
Yeah, I think he's good enough that you at least play him out like his
Hmm.
contract, unless you get something that just lands right in your lap, like a franchise quarterback up for trade.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's any hurry for them to draft a quarterback this year, or if they want to. Like I can't say I blame them. Chuba Hubbard had yet another great game.
Only
Um,
because Jonathan Brooks went down with another ACL tear. I
yeah,
mean,
he might be toast.
two within a year is crazy.
Yeah, I don't. I think he should have just sat out his whole rookie year. That's sad.
Yeah, he was the first running back taken out of the draft this past year. You hate to see that happen for somebody who only got to play 3 games this year, but hopefully he can make it back for week 1 of next year. Which brings me to my I forgot to bring this up. Did you see that Hutchinson might be back for an NFC Championship game?
I did see that. I kind of just with the timing of the injury, I kind of had a feeling that he would be crazy enough that he would want to come back, and he
I
would.
think
He 100% will.
I think
He'll
we
be back
called
if they
it
make
though.
it.
I think we called it when it happened. We said there's a chance if they go to the Super Bowl, he might be back for the Super Bowl. So I don't know if
Well, he's
you
gutsy enough. He'll play through it.
hmm
Yeah, no, he's even though he's a Michigan man, I love that dude.
Yeah, he's a
He's
tough
awesome.
kid.
Yeah. Adam Thielen though, 102 yards, 9 receptions. Other than that, not a whole lot in this game. Other than, like I said, the Panthers were very close to winning this game, and very much in the game too.
They've covered
And
like the spread the last 3 or 4 games. Like they're in every game.
yeah, I was gonna say they're not nearly as bad of a team as we were talking about them being earlier in the year. Like they're definitely at least on the right path. Just
Hmm
gotta, you got some young players on this team. You got a good O line at least now, so you're heading in the right direction. Just gotta, keep building
Yep.
and stay healthy for God's sakes too. But next, this was a real stinker of the game or week.
What do you mean? This was the best game of the week.
Oh, I hated this game. We had the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Tennessee Titans 10-6. The only reason I did like this game somewhat is that it improves our draft pick, just a
It
smidge.
does.
Um, but Mac Jones, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Tank Bigsby with the Jags only touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr. had a good week though, 8 catches, 86 yards. Pretty solid week, but other than that, this game sucked. Unless you like a good running game, because Tony Pollard got 102 yards, but other than that,
Mhm.
Titans did nothing other than pick off Mac Jones twice.
Right.
But next we had the Miami Dolphins beating the New York Jets, officially eliminating them from the playoffs, 32-26. Um, in what some people believe could be Aaron Rodgers' last game as a New York Jet. I kind of find that a little hard to believe personally, but um, he got Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams very involved in this game, both over 100 yards. Uh, Garrett Wilson absolutely burnt uh, Jalen Ramsey on one play.
Yeah, he did.
But what's nice about this game is we finally got a Tyreek Hill 100 plus yard game.
We did. It was nice to see.
Yeah, I still don't think the Dolphins are doing anything this year at all. But who knows?
No.
Who knows? They might sneak in. They might sneak in at the end, but they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this team's toast. Both of them are, but next we have the Seattle Seahawks beating the Arizona Cardinals 30-18. Uh I mean, unless you love running like the running game in football games, like absolutely love it, you just dread this matchup every week that you see it.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach Charbonnet, 134 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Was
He had a
awesome for me in
monster day.
fantasy. Yeah,
Hmm
59 yards receiving as well and 7 catches. Um, Other than that, I mean, nothing too crazy. Kyler Murray's still struggling to connect with Marvin Harrison Jr. Trey McBride, though, has just continued to just show out every week. 7 catches, 70 yards.
Still no touchdown though.
Nope, no touchdown. Targeted 14 times, though, is nuts. Um, but the Cardinals, I know we talked about them early in the year as being a team to kind of look out for and be sneaky. Uh, But Seattle, I don't know. These two teams are so weird. They're so hot and cold. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're like painful to watch sometimes because you just don't know what team you're getting. Are you getting the team that can go out and, compete with someone? Or are you getting the team that, oh, we should maybe tank?
Right.
So I don't know. I think the Cardinals are at least heading in the right direction, and they definitely still have some things to figure out, but I just don't know. I was very surprised when I saw that they extended James Conner because I thought they were going to try to get Trey Benson, who they just drafted this year, some more workload going into next year. But
Yeah, I mean, I've got James Conner on my fantasy team, so obviously I'm excited about him continuing to play a little bit more than he probably should be. Um, but the
he's
biggest
not
question,
playing bad though.
no, he's not. I think he's performing, he's putting up some good numbers. I really hope that we get to a point where Marvin Harrison Jr. is the superstar that he is. It is just so weird week in, week out. Like we've only really seen like two or three breakout games for him.
Yeah, and when they have been breakout games, they've been like big time breakout games. Like let me
Hmm.
just pull up some of his past games. He's been in a little bit of a lull for the last month, but he has an 130 yard game and then a 111-yard game.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's been pretty consistent with either donuts or 60 yards.
Yep.
Um, but this was my favorite game that we're about to talk about right now of the week. This game was so back and forth, and I really regret not taking this as my underdog of the week.
This
But
was
I thought Buffalo
definitely,
was going to stomp them.
yeah, this was definitely game of the week.
Yeah, Los Angeles Rams beat the Buffalo Bills in LA 44 to 42. Absolute showdown right to the end. Josh Allen showed that he was MVP this year. Um, what I thought was funny were people were saying that since Josh Allen was wearing the Kobe 6 cleats, that he was going to get 6 touchdowns, and lo and behold, he did get 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, three through the air and then three on the ground. I was surprised that not one of them was going to be Amari Cooper, though.
Yeah, yeah. Mari Cooper's kind of not really done much in that role yet.
Yeah, I mean, he had 95 yards, but
Yeah, I just mean in the end zone, but
yeah. Um, but Matthew Stafford, very conservative game, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 23 for 30. Kyron Williams picked up a big workload, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Puka Nacua, this was the Puka Nacua game. Uh, he had 2 touchdowns, one rushing, one receiving, 162 yards, 12 catches. And then Cooper Kupp also got in the end zone with 92 yards as well. Um, Now the Rams are a team that I would be terrified to play in the playoffs. Absolutely. They're that
mhm.
Cardinals team that I was talking about earlier in the years. They're the team I would not want to face first round in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think if you're in the NFC, which is very wide open right now, I think the Rams are the scariest team that can do literally anything. They could be a seven seed and pull it off. I mean, it's possible.
We've seen crazier things happen in the past.
Yeah.
So,
Somehow Palpatine returned.
exactly. Exactly. Um, but next, let's go ahead and move into this game. This game actually ended up being more of a blowout than I thought it was going to be, of course. The one time I picked the Chicago Bears to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
They lose to the San Francisco 49ers 38 to 13. This game was a lot worse earlier in the game, and I don't know what's up with the Chicago team in the second half, but they just come out a whole different team in the second half. They suck ass, get so far behind in the first half, and then just make these small comebacks out of nowhere. They had what, 2 yards in the first half?
It was very bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very bad. That's why. their head coach gets fired. George Kittle, though, 151 yards receiving. I didn't even quite realize he had that many receiving yards.
I didn't either. He hit a monster game.
Yeah, did not get in the end zone. Juwan Jennings got all the end zone work, um, through the air at least. But they had a couple of running backs that came in for Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason. We had Isaac Guerendo. Is that how you
Yeah.
pronounce it? He got in the end zone twice, but he is now hurt supposedly, and might not be playing on Thursday Night Football. And then we had Patrick Taylor Jr., who I'd never heard of in my life, get in the end zone as well on the ground for them.
Yeah, that 49ers team just needs to call it a day and wave their white flag.
Yeah, that's rough. I personally think they need to rebuild. They just need to just gut it, just start from ground zero because they're about to be in such cap hell. They're going to be in the same situation as the Saints, and the Saints got absolutely nothing from it. At least
Yep.
they've made the Super Bowl where the Saints have done nothing with it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Caleb Williams, it looks like the only person he can connect with is DJ Moore in the first quarter, and then Rome Odunze the rest of the game because everyone else just is dead asleep out there.
No, those Bears, I don't know what you do about those Bears either. They're another team where I think they're in the middle of a rebuild. They got to figure out what they're going to do for head coach next year. But in the moment, I'm both these teams, both these teams, it was a shit show the
Yeah,
entire game.
yeah, absolutely. And then we'll close things off with Sunday Night Football. We had the Kansas City Chiefs somehow, some way pulling it off yet again
They
against the
can't
LA
keep getting away
Chargers,
with this.
19 to 30 or 19 to 17. Uh, Not gonna lie, this was not a very entertaining Sunday Night Football game.
It was a snoozer.
Yeah, it was not great.
To
Oh,
go to go from the Bills game to this was really disappointing.
oh, very disappointing. And I was looking forward to this game too. I thought it was gonna be really good, but just an absolute snooze fest. Um, I remember one thing that I was going to ask you. I was on TikTok and I came across this. I wish I remembered the name of the podcast, but they were asking how many running backs are better than Isaiah Pacheco. And I'm gonna have to pull up the list and ask the boys, but I want to ask you at least one of these. Do you think Isaiah Pacheco is better than Chuba Hubbard
Yeah,
going into this year? Well,
yeah,
I guess during this year.
yeah.
I maybe disagree with you.
I think so.
Do you think so?
Yeah, what are the numbers?
Okay, so how many? Oh, the numbers? Here, let me look. So Isaiah Pacheco.
I'm looking up Hubbard. Well, also, how old is Pacheco?
Pacheco is 25.
Okay, so is Hubbard.
So career yards, he's
Um,
literally 1 yard shy of 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns,
in how many years?
three,
Just shy of two.
just shy of two.
In how many games?
35.
So in 62 games in 4 years.
He has that many more?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
62 games, 4 years. Chuba Hubbard has 2,991, so almost four or th almost 3,000. So Pacheco has done in half the snaps, only 1,000 yards less, basically. How many touchdowns does Chu or how many touchdowns does Pacheco have?
13.
Yeah, so Chuba has 20. I think Pacheco has the better upside.
Yeah, that's fair. That's valid. That's valid. All right, but other than that, That is week 14. We have Monday Night Football about to start in an hour from when we're recording right now. Didn't really want to wait for it because I feel like we know what's the outcome, but we might be
Yeah.
shocked. We
I'm
might be shocked.
afraid
Who knows? Cowboys might win three in a row. I
I'm
doubt it.
afraid I'm gonna get caught watching the Simpsons broadcast on this one.
Oh, I want to watch the Simpsons broadcast
I
just to
hope
make the
it's
game entertaining.
I hope it's fun. See Jamar Chase running out there.
I just want to see what's his name? Trevon Diggs. Um get mossed by Jamar Chase and go
Yeah, I wonder if they'll have any cool sound effects or anything like to the show. We'll see.
like how they did with Patrick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about week 15. All bye weeks are finally over. We had like 6 teams on the bye week. That was insane.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get killed in fantasy, but
I did too. I was supposed to lose.
I was supposed to lose by 40 points and I won by like 80 something.
Yeah. I was supposed to lose. I wish I could see. I know. I think at the end of the week I'll get to see my original projection, but like I ended up getting 169 points in one league and like 202 in the other league. It was just a monster week.
All right, Dylan, is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we close off?
No, I think that about does it. I cannot wait for the lads episode. Get the boys back talking some football, talking some bets. We've got an interesting change in the leaderboard, so we'll discuss that next episode. And I can't wait to see where everybody thinks the national championship's gonna play out. So if you're gambling, gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you have any issues. Have fun this weekend, and we'll see you later. Peace.